Hello, recappers. Today's movie starts with Thibaut, a French figure skater, being told by an agent to quit because he's considered old news. Though hurt, Thibaut stays strong. Next, Claire, a film student, arrives late to class where her professor Steve seems to dislike her and encourages subtle attacks from other students. Steve assigns a short film project. Claire wants to make one called Uda Puppet, mixing Oedipus and puppet, and talks about it with her rich but wise friend Julia. Claire doesn't have Steve's permission for the project, risking failure. Stressed, Julia suggests Claire go to Paris to clear her mind. Claire loves Paris and once taught herself French but worries about leaving New York and paying for the trip. Julia reminds her life is short and passion is rare. After finishing her work, Claire submits it, but Steve gives her an F with weak excuses. Claire laughs and decides to go to Paris immediately. While preparing her travel papers, Claire meets Thibaut briefly. Their first meeting is civil and pleasant. Curious, Claire later Googles Thibaut Baudet, discovering he is a figure skater. She watches his videos with admiration and finds that watching him makes her feel less lonely. In Paris, Claire works as an au pair for Nadège Saint-Pierre and her husband Bernard, caring for their children Elodie and Angelique. The household also includes Nadia's mother, Kadia, and a housekeeper named Kadia. Nadège is pleased Claire speaks French well. Claire signs up for a documentary project, but finds the support staff rude. Another student, Rafal Drosky, helps her get settled. Soon, a figure skating competition is approaching. Claire hopes Thibaut will compete, but is disappointed to learn he retired at the season's start. She sees him in the spectator area talking casually with a group. When she approaches him, she becomes tongue-tied and awkward. He doesn't recognize her, so she excuses herself embarrassed. Later, they meet again and have a proper conversation. This time, he recognizes her, and they chat productively. They exchange contacts and plan to create a show combining figure skating and puppetry. They agree to meet at a cafe the following Tuesday. Claire is so excited she dances her way to the cafe. During their meeting, Thibaut reveals he quit skating and now works at a bank. When Claire asks if it's boring, he calls it life-threateningly boring. They brainstorm how to combine figure skating and puppetry into a ballet show. Thibaut suggests Claire work with his girlfriend, Trina, a ballet dancer. Claire is disappointed because she has a growing crush on Thibaut but tries to hide it. She leaves the cafe abruptly, claiming to feel ill. At home, she searches for Trina online and finds cozy pictures of the couple. Meanwhile, Claire's host family in Paris is hostile toward her. The children lie, claiming Claire hits them, and their mother supports their attitude. They try to turn the housekeeper, Kata, against Claire, but Kata defends her. The mistreatment continues, forcing Claire to move in with her friend Julia. Claire slowly recovers from her disappointment about Thibaut's relationship. She regains her courage and contacts him to plan another meeting. They agree to meet the following Thursday. Claire shares her idea for a show about a ballerina, a Moor, and Petrushka, a clown. These three would be puppets brought to life by a charlatan. Petrushka would fall in love with the ballerina, but she would be in love with the Moor. This would prompt the Moor and Petrushka to enter into a duel. Petrushka would lose, and then his spirit would curse the charlatan for bringing him to life. Claire wants Thibaut to play Petrushka. Thibaut thinks the story is great but says he is not the right person for the part, as there are better, more talented skaters. He tries to sell himself short, but Claire won't have it. She tells him that when he's on the ice, he is a human sunbeam, and that people need that sunbeam of hope in their lives every once in a while. He is touched by this, and finally agrees to play Petrushka. In the following days, the duo spend time practicing toward their dream of creating this piece. They have fun together, but sometimes Thibaut is weighed down by the agent's earlier negative words about him being old news and belonging with garbage. Whenever he feels like this, Claire encourages him and helps him shake off his dark feelings. As he keeps practicing figure skating, his spirits rise, and even his girlfriend notices the change. Over time, Thibaut starts developing a crush on Claire, but does not act on it. Claire registers their name for an upcoming festival, and Thibaut is pleased. In the next scene, Thibaut and Trina's sex life is shown to have been declining for some time, leaving them both unsatisfied. Claire, meanwhile, hooks up with Rafal, the student who helped her earlier and has been infatuated with her. She does this because she doesn't know about Thibaut's crush and can't wait for him since he's in a relationship. Claire is also shown to be dissatisfied with this fling. Life goes on for Claire until she receives a text from Thibaut saying he can no longer do the show because he doesn't feel capable. Subsequent texts are very insensitive and callous, breaking Claire's heart. It turns out Thibault's girlfriend sent the harsh messages, while Thibault tries to explain that although he doesn't feel up to the task, Claire has changed his life and made him feel alive, even if only briefly. Thibault sends a final message asking Claire to come pick up her puppets, saying he feels like they are watching him, implying his guilt. When Claire visits him, he apologizes for the stress he caused her. But she chooses to stay positive. She tells him their submission was successful and they've been selected for the puppetry festival. Thibault is displeased and rants that she shouldn't force him. Claire says she's only trying to help as a friend. Thibault counters that they are colleagues, not friends, and just because she's seen videos of him skating doesn't mean she knows him. He says that Thibault on the ice is different from the one in front of her and tells her she's not part of his private life and doesn't need to take care of him. Essentially, he tells her to do something useful with her life. Claire retorts that she won't emulate his life as a banker. This strikes Thibault deeply, and he begins to apologize, but Claire cuts him off. She says if the real him isn't the one on the ice, then he has her fooled. She says she misses the cheerful Thibault who was determined to chase his dreams. She calls him her Petrushka and bids him farewell. Thibault is deeply touched, but controls his emotions. He becomes gloomy for the rest of the day. When Trina asks, he says he feels like he made a mistake and is considering patching things up with Claire. Trina is not pleased and storms off. Meanwhile, Claire's life gets worse. Her job taking care of mean kids and doing puppet shows is very tiring, both in her body and mind. She started dating Rafal because it was easy, but it's not going well. He is needy and wants to argue about everything. Fighting seems to excite him, and Claire doesn't know how much more she can handle. One day, at a kids' party, the children are very naughty and don't listen to her at all. They throw and break her puppets, and Claire runs away feeling defeated. The next day she throws away all her puppets and plans to leave Paris. She doesn't tell Thibault because she feels he hates her and doesn't want anything to do with her. A few weeks later, while talking to Julia on the phone, Claire meets Thibault by chance. She tells him she is going back to the US and leaving Paris for good. Thibault feels sad and wants to say how he really feels, but only wishes her a safe trip and good luck. He stumbles over his words at the end. Claire asks him to go for a walk, and Thibault happily agrees. When she asks about his life, he says it's okay, but he plans to take Trina to Portugal for the weekend to spend time together. He's not sure if it will help but wants to try. He says sorry to Claire for how he acted before, says he cares about her, but doesn't want to risk his relationship. That's why he keeps his distance. Claire smiles, happy to know he feels the same. Thibault quickly tells her not to go far, because he wants to stay friends. As they talk, Claire's airport taxi arrives, so they say goodbye quickly. Claire says goodbye again, and Thibault feels very emotional. It's clear he cares for her, but he does nothing, and just watches her leave. The story skips ahead a few years. Claire has learned to take care of herself and is doing better. One day, she sees a poster for a figure skating show with Thibault as the artistic director. She smiles, happy that Thibault has found himself and is chasing his dream. And that's how our story ends. What did you think about the ending? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown.